Hey folks, welcome back. We are going to talk about gear today. I'm at about 5,000 miles, 6 months of riding, and that's more than most people do in a year. Not as much as some people do in a year, but more than the new rider usually does in a year. And I feel like it's enough miles on the basics of my gear that I've got a pretty good understanding of what's held up, what's worked, what hasn't. At least for me. Keep in mind, this is for me. My criteria are a little different than some people's. If you are purely a recreational, on the weekend sport rider, your needs are different. If you are a Harley oriented motorcycle club kind of rider, your needs are different as well. My needs are kind of boring in terms of style. I am looking way more at comfort and practicality than a particular look. So let's get into it. I'm going to cover it from the top down. First, the helmets. I have the REV'IT from Shoei in bright white, and while I wear a large for the helmet, I've changed out the top liner for the thicker version of that pad. And it snugs it up around the top of my head. It gives a little less wiggle to it. My cheek pads are appropriate. I can fit into a medium on a RF 1200 or 1400, but the cheek pads feel a little snug, but they would break in. It would be appropriate. On the REV'IT, the cheek pads are a little beefier, I felt, and the fit was just a little different. It's more of a city helmet than I needed. Well, the truth is most of my miles with that helmet are on the highway, and while my bike is a fairly upright bike, on the highway I do tend to lean forward a little more just because of the wind. And I would have been perfectly happy, if not more happy, with the highway-oriented helmet. They're just a little more aerodynamic. They're a little better in the wind. That said, my REV'IT is perfectly comfy. It's a very high-quality helmet. And while I consider replacing it with something else, I'm just probably not going to do it. My other helmet is the Airform Lycan. I like the helmet. I think it's cool looking. I think it's sleek. It's also not really a great highway helmet. It has a pretty high amount of noise coming through, and you can't control the venting real well. You can't close the chin vents. I have one side taped over because the microphone is on that side. The other side is open because you need some airflow, right? And the head vent up top, the forehead vent, doesn't do a whole lot. And at $149, it is freaking hard to beat. I don't regret that purchase. I don't think I made a bad buy. My biggest complaint with that helmet, it is not pin lock ready. Getting a visor that I can put a pin lock on is going to cost me a significant amount of money. By the time it's done, almost as much as the helmet. So I'm just going to pass on that. I don't use it in that kind of weather. And it is what it is. Moving down to the jackets. You have heard me rave about the freaking Scorpion Exo Optima jacket. I think that, and again, there are other options, but for $200, unbeatable. Just absolutely in that style category, unbeatable. I have seen nothing else on the market that gives me a waterproof outer shell. I don't need to zip anything into it or to zip something out of it or anything like that. The outer shell is waterproof with significant venting. The chest vents are not small. It has two big vents in the back. While I complain about the venting in the sense that it doesn't handle higher temperatures well, for a waterproof built-in jacket, venting is great. It doesn't have little tiny vents or something. They're pretty good size. Right across your chest, straight down, not two little top ones up here or something. Straight down where the bulk of your airflow is. It's great. It is not a super stylish jacket. It's kind of meh, but it looks not horrible. It doesn't look stupid. It just doesn't fit any particular category. It's not real sporty. It's not real Harley-esque. It's not ADV crowd. I don't know what the look is. I have worn that almost every day for 6 months. Rain, snow, wind, fog, sun. Like, it has been in almost every condition South Texas gets, except for super hot. I obviously don't wear it when it's super hot. Can't say enough about that jacket. 100%. The pads stay in the right places. My advice is if that's a jacket that you feel like has a place in your wardrobe, you will not regret it. It has held up fine. I think that it is in very good condition given the amount of abuse it has taken with me. Basically, it needs some cleaning. We are 6 months in of use. It has taken a ton of miles. Of the 5,000 miles I put on the bike, it's probably 4,500 of them in all sorts of weather conditions. And honestly, yeah, I should clean it better. Of my gear, that Optima is one of 2, maybe 3 items that are 100% on my rebuy list. 100. If I went down today wearing that jacket and it was damaged in a way that I was like, okay, it's not safe to wear anymore, I would be on RevZilla immediately, reorder, done. There's only 1 or 2 other pieces of gear that fit in that category, and we will get into that. Stay to the end because one of them is like the last item. Next jacket, my REV'IT Eclipse, and this is a first gen, not the new one. I love the jacket. I wish I had spent more money. I wish I had gone up a notch or 2, because this is the jacket I'm going to spend the next 6 months wearing. This is going to be the majority of the miles for the year because better weather. I'm going to be out more on recreational rides, right? But at the time, it was the right choice. And we're not going to get into comparing it to other jackets in that sense. We're going to give it my review of what it is. It is the entry-level mesh jacket from REV'IT. And in the overall market, it's kind of in the entry to lower mid market. They're going for $150 right now. The new ones are like $180. I think I paid $160 for mine. For the money, excellent. You are getting REV'IT quality construction for the most part. You are getting good materials. You are getting level 1 pads. No back pad built in, but the pocket is there. I think anything over about 70, 73, the jacket's great. Maybe you want a light hoodie, not this heavy, a really light, like a rash guard kind of hoodie underneath it in the below 75 kind of range. If you're getting on the highway around town, you could get away with it without. Past 75, a t-shirt is fine. I really like it. I like the look. I like the feel. It's very lightweight and comfy. The only thing I don't like about it, and there's 2 things. I don't like the cuffs because I think that Velcro is not sufficient. Number of times I've had it come loose while on the highway and it's a pain. And I don't like the fact that the inner liner is not attached to the outer layer of the jacket very many places. So like the inner pocket is almost useless. You can't get anything in or out of that pocket while riding. You got to hold it and open the back Velcro, and it's stupid. The higher quality, higher price jackets do that better. And usually they also include some sort of zip-in waterproof or at least water-resistant liner. And it'd be nice to have a jacket that was built for warmer temperatures that also had that option. That said, I would probably still go with REV'IT. I would still stay in the same product family. I would just go up 2 notches, 3 notches in the product line, 300, 350. I probably wouldn't do 1 notch up. I don't think it'd be worth it. I think I would stay where I'm at. But I like it. Keep in mind, the original Eclipse is built very similarly to the new Eclipse. It's just not rated on the safety scale for CE. So, it's got armor. It's built the same way. It just isn't rated. I consider it a relatively safe jacket. It is just a lightweight, mesh-oriented jacket. This is not the one you want to go down on at extreme highway speeds. It's just not. It's a mesh jacket. If you want that kind of protection, you need to buy a much more serious jacket. I have the level 2 back protectors in both of my jackets. I have the axial in the back of my Scorpion, and I have the REV'IT one in the REV'IT C-Smart Air or something, or C-Soft Air in the back of the REV'IT. I think that those are essential. I think that even if you've got level 1, everywhere else, shoulders, elbows, anything else, chest protector, have the level 2 back. Moving on, gloves. And now we have some demonstration units. We'll start with the ones I'm using these days. We have the AlpineStars SMX1 Air V2s, I think. Yeah, SMX1 Air V2s. This is a short cuff, basic, entry price point glove from AlpineStars. Sport oriented, but do not mistake this for a track glove or a high performance street glove. This is a casual glove. You do not have the level of protection that you would get on a more serious glove. But of my set of gloves, this is the most protective. It has the most sophisticated protection built into it and is the most oriented toward that. It's also the least comfy of the summertime warm weather gloves that I've got, but it's still comfy enough that I wear it about as often as anything else. I think that I probably wear this half the time, and then the other half is split between my other pairs. I do think that at the new price, these are now $70 instead of like $60. You may want to either go up a notch or down a notch from these. I think that if you are looking at these at $70 and you're interested in the protection and the sporty nature, you may want to just spend $100 on their big brothers and call it a day. Maybe even more and get a longer cuff, more protective glove that is actually appropriate for serious sport riding. This is more appropriate to the kind of riding I do. Next one, and to me, the direct competitor in terms of when and where I would use it, the Joe Rocket Turbulent. These are a relatively new glove, similar concept, different execution. They both have the hard knuckle protection. They both have mesh with leather. The difference is this has the mesh in different places. The leather's in different places. The construction is just done a little differently. Same overall concept. They're offering the same kind of orientation for protection. They're not trying to be a super sport glove. They're not trying to be a street Rossi kind of glove. These are gloves for somebody like me doing normal riding who wants a little more sporty protection. You're not looking for a cruiser style glove, I guess is the best way to put it. And you're not looking for an ADV style glove. You're not looking for a big touring glove. The biggest thing I think these have over the SMX, the touch screen technology on these, useless. It doesn't work for me most of the time. Just sorry. I know AlpineStars says it has it. I know REV'IT says it, RevZilla says it's on there. Does not freaking work. When I go to the grocery store, I have to take these off. When I'm at the gas station, it's a touch screen, I have to take these off. These freaking works. Don't know what to tell you. These are like $50 at the local motorcycle dealer, and very comfy, very well made. I expected them to not hold up as well as they have. I was expecting some threading to start coming loose or to show more wear and tear. I probably have 600 or 700 miles on these. No issues. Now, going even more comfy, and I only use these at lower speeds. These are my around town gloves. I don't normally wear these on the highway. These are the REV'IT. These are the Joe Rocket Eclipse gloves, and they are like $25 at my local dealer. Minimal padding anywhere, minimal protection. It is basically just a leather palm with a mesh top and some knuckle pads. What looks like padding down here, I mean, it's so thin it doesn't matter. It's just, there's a little thin layer of like open cell foam in there. Useless. Its appearance is not reality. The touchscreen technology works. Sorry, AlpineStars, your expensive gloves. You got to fix that. They're very comfy. They're very soft. They're very good in the wind. Very nice when it's hot out. And if I'm riding around town, these are my number one choice. $25. I did not expect them to hold up. I figured they would be toast within a couple dozen rides. They've held up. We'll see if I get through the summer with them. I expect that by the time we get most of the way through the summer, I'm going to need another pair just because of how much abuse they've taken. So the last glove, these are the REV'IT Cassini H2Os. They are a reasonably insulated, not super insulated, but reasonably insulated, windproof, waterproof mix of leather and textile. There's textile on the back, leather on the palms. Pretty comfy for an insulated glove like this. They do pretty well down to like 35, 40. And even at that, like at 35, you'd want hand guards. You know, you'd want Barkbuster style hand guards if you were going to be out there for more than a little bit. For what they are, they do wonderfully. These are about $100, and they are not meant to be used below that kind of range. That's not what they're for. Their main benefit is they are waterproof. I did not get wet while wearing these, and I rode in some pouring rain. The touchscreen technology on these is just the tip of your finger, and well, you can kind of see the tip of my finger is not right there. It kind of squishes in, so it's not great. But if all you have to do is like push the big button on the grocery store screen or gas station screen, like it works. Trying to use this to navigate on your phone not so great. I would not want to be trying to type a text on this. It's got another thumb as well, thumb and index finger. If you spend a little more, you get better touchscreen technology. But overall, very happy with these. You can see they have held up very well. They still look very good. They still feel good. These gloves have probably had 1,000 miles of abuse. And that is, I mean, legitimate abuse. They were out in nasty weather. They were the gloves I wore when it was at its worst. I think all of them are great. I think all of them fit their intended purpose and style. And I don't regret any of them. Legitimately, I wear these more often than not these days. I think they've got the best style, the best protection, but the least comfort. But not a big enough difference that I don't wear them. I am really tempted to buy the next ones up that are a little longer cuff and see how I like them, because that will avoid the thing that I least like about these gloves while enhancing the protection. What's not to like? Except the fact that it's spending money I don't have to spend right now. So hey, AlpineStars, REV'IT, just saying. Next thing on the list, jeans. I have a variety of jeans. The main ones I wear these days are the Riding Culture straight leg. I want to say they're just the straight leg ones. They are not just a straight leg jean. They are a fairly fitted jean. I like them. They are about as fitted as I want to go. They are more fitted, for example, than a pair of Wrangler straight leg jeans from Walmart. Noticeably so. They fit. They don't fit my butt. They're too big, but I don't have a butt. My calves are pretty normal size. My thighs are pretty normal size. I am an average individual. I am not skinny. I am not super athletic. I'm not a power lifter, nor am I a runner. It is what it is, right? I'm a normal size individual. They let the most wind flow through, and I don't run any pads in them because the knee pads don't have room for my leg. If I put the knee pads in, they're not very comfortable at all. So I took those pockets out. I completely just removed those pockets. I wear those as I'm going to work, I'm going to the grocery store, or daily life kind of jeans. They are not the ones I wear when I'm doing anything particularly risky. Those are the next ones. The REV'IT Lombard 3s or the REV'IT Philly 3s, heavier duty, much thicker material. They don't let as much wind flow through. They have room. They're a more casual fit. They are more like my Wranglers from Walmart, except for one feature I'll mention in a second. But I leave the pads in. I've got knee pads, hip pads, and it's a pretty heavy duty jean. I feel like they're the most protective of what I own, and they're the most expensive of what I own. They are not cheap jeans. They are not, as far as motorcycle jeans go, not super expensive, but you're over $200 versus $175 for the Riding Culture. If I was buying more, I would probably buy more of the Riding Culture than the REV'IT. And that is simply because I have more use case for the Riding Culture style jeans than the REV'IT ones. The REV'ITs are AA rated. The other jeans that I have are, I think, mostly A rated or not rated. I wear the Riding Culture jeans more than any of the other ones. They get tons of use. The main complaint I have about the REV'IT jeans, which are my other main selection, is that the frickin' zipper, okay, as in like the crotch zipper, does not go down far enough. I know, bizarre. It's intentional. They mention it a couple places in their marketing. If you would like to go to the bathroom standing up, because you're a guy, and you go to the urinal and you would like to take things out and take a leak, it's awkward. It's pain. You might as well just go into a stall and unzip and unbuckle and unbutton and pull your pants down a little bit, because way less likely to catch your zipper, so to speak. The reason for it is that they think you are going to be on a sport bike potentially using their jeans, and that's leaning forward. And the idea is that the zipper is you're not leaning on your zipper. I'm sorry, REV'IT, I have bad news. The Philly 3s and the Lombard 3s are as unsport bike-like as you could possibly get. If you were talking the Moto 2s, which are very fitted, tapered pair of pants that a hardcore sport bike guy might be wearing, I could buy this. But you use the same zipper setup on the jeans that are basically grandpa-style jeans for people on cruisers and naked bikes and touring bikes and so on. We do not need an abbreviated zipper. We do not care for that option. It is literally the reason I have not ordered more. And I otherwise love those jeans. The next runner-ups are the Reax 267s and the Oaklands, the Street and Steel Oaklands. These are both relatively budget options. Comparatively, the 267s are about the same price, honestly, as the Riding Culture. They're a different flavor. They are way more wind protective. They are very lightweight, but they block more wind. Again, the pads were useless, but they are very comfy. They're very lightweight. They're just nice. I think they're a good pair of jeans for the money. The Oaklands, on the other hand, are a lined pair. They're the only pair in this group that are lined. They are probably going to be pretty fitted to you. They are still straight leg. The actual cut is not super fitted. It's that they're lined. And they're not a loose, baggy fit. I have them again in 36. And they're pretty, I'm wearing them now. They're pretty close fit to my legs. They're reasonably warm. They are not a really cold weather jean, but I mean, I'm wearing them right now, sitting in my apartment, and I'm perfectly comfy. I wore them to work yesterday. I was reasonably comfy. They were a little warm, but it's warm at work, even if you're wearing, they're one of my more comfy jeans, actually. My only problem is that I live in South Texas, and a lined pair of jeans is going to be useless most of the summer. Moving on to the last section, guys. We're getting there. Boots. Oh, man. My boots are my favorite thing in this whole list. They're my favorite bit of gear these days. And that's because I lucked out. I freaking lucked out on my choices. The first ones, and the ones I wear the most, and they're not the first ones I bought. I started out with the SMX S boots from AlpineStar, specifically because I wanted the most protection in a street boot. And turns out I don't wear them very often. They are too much of a pain to take on and off. And I just don't wear them as often as I probably should, but they are the most protective of what I own. Moving on, because I just don't wear them enough to put them in here. My pretty dirty right now, SMX 1R vented boots. These are a not as sporty as they look boot. The top up here is pretty loose. You are not getting a whole lot of real ankle protection. Heel, toe, crush protection from the side. Very good. I think these are an excellent street boot. I think they are the boot you should be wearing or something equivalent for day-to-day riding on the street, doing normal things. If you are going to go out and be a street Rossi, get more protection than this. Get their more actual street Rossi oriented boots. They make them. Just, you got to go up the tiers a little bit. I freaking love these. I 100%, I wear these 90% of the time. If it is not planning to absolutely rain buckets, this is what I'm wearing. This is the other 100% would rebuy it today. I would be laying on the side of the road, logging into REV'IT on my phone, rebuy. I want them here tomorrow. My other pair, Dainese Street Rocker D-WPs. These are not quite as protective, but in some ways more protective. This ankle, there's actual protection on both sides. Little pucks. They're not super serious, but for a street casual boot, pretty good. The toe, it's soft. There's not as much protection as the AlpineStars, but crush protection, very good. Heel protection's a little reinforced. Again, not as good. You're not expected to be riding these like a maniac. They are waterproof and they look good. I get compliments on these boots all the time. Super comfy, super practical. They are currently, if they have your size in stock, they're like $120 instead of $200+. That is it, folks. Obviously, my gear is more day-to-day, commute, casual, daily life oriented than a lot of people's will be. It is not sport, adventure, touring, or lifestyle, for lack of a better word, oriented. I'm not a super fashionable guy. Most of my gear is more on the practical side than the fashionable side, and it doesn't necessarily all matchy kind of thing. I don't have the matching pants to go with the REV'IT jacket, and the matching boots and gloves, and I don't care. Anyway, what is some of your favorite gear? What would you suggest I try next in this same genre, knowing that we're going into the summer in South Texas? It's going to be 100+ degrees most of the time, even at night when I'm headed home from work. That I value comfort, basic protection, and visibility over style and, I guess, fashion. I am an average build guy, a little overweight, not in, superb shape, but I am not grossly overweight. I am, not looking for something that looks like a balloon. What's out there? What haven't I seen? I mean, I cruise through REV'IT all the time, But, you know, little pictures don't always do it justice. Sometimes the descriptions don't match the reality. What are your suggestions? Let me know. Take care, have fun, stay safe, enjoy the ride, everybody, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Say hi to a vet, buy somebody some lunch, dinner, whatever. Just appreciate the service they have given us and the sacrifices they have made.